All right. Welcome to the virtual college exploration for West Virginia students, sponsored by the West Virginia Association of Collegiate Registrars and Admission Officers and StriveScan. Thank you for joining us. A few housekeeping announcements before we get started. You can use the Q&A button on your screen to type your questions to our presenters at any time. Your camera and microphone is off, so the panelists cannot see or hear you. This is just one of the many sessions happening, so be sure to check out the full schedule at WVACRAO.org. And again, this presentation is recorded and you can find it at that same website. So now I will turn it over to our presenters.
All right, thank you so much. Let me get my screen shared here so everyone can see that. Does everyone have our title slide up on their screen? Very good. All right, thanks so much. I just want to welcome everyone. This session is a collaboration between West Virginia University, Fairmont State University, and the University of Charleston. My name is Chris Sharps. I'm the Senior Director of Recruitment at Fairmont State University. I'm going to serve as our moderator today. So I'll kind of be guiding the conversation and discussion back and forth between our participants. If you are not familiar with our location, Fairmont State University and West Virginia University are located approximately 1/2 hour from each other on I-79 here in north central West Virginia. And the University of Charleston is located in the heart of our capital city here in West Virginia, and that is Charleston. So they're located directly across the river from the beautiful West Virginia Capitol Complex. It is a beautiful riverfront location. So I'm going to go ahead and hand it off to our panelists today to give a brief introduction for themselves. And we'll go in the order that the panelists appear on the screen.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Ken Blemmings. I'm the Dean of the Honors College at West Virginia University.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Robin Payne, and I'm the Director of the Honors Program at Fairmont State University.
Okay. Hi, I'm Hallie Chillog, and I'm on the Social Sciences faculty at the University of Charleston, and I co-direct the honors program with my colleague, Dr. Kara Fisher.
Hi, I am Kara Fisher, and I am a faculty member at the University of Charleston in the Honors College, co-director with Hallie Chillog, and I also am an assistant professor of political science.
Very good. Thank you so much. Just a very quick reminder to all of our participants today, please type your questions into the chat. We will have time to answer questions at the end of our presentation. We will gladly follow up afterward if we do happen to run out of time during our session today. So first off, I'm going to hand it off to Dr. Payne to discuss and discover a little bit about why a student would choose to pursue the honors program at any institution, or specifically here at Fairmont State, at West Virginia University, or at the University of Charleston.
Thank you, Chris. So good afternoon again, everybody. It's really exciting to be able to participate on this panel discussion. I'm relatively new in my position as the honors director at Fairmont State. And so I've been thinking a lot about this very question lately, why honors? And for students who are in your position, who are just kind of starting to figure out that next step heading into college, I imagine that most of you have taken honors classes while you were in high school. And the reasons for doing that, I'm sure, have ranged from those honors classes are really good college preparation. They also look very prestigious on your transcript when you're getting ready to go off to college. Some of you, I assume, have done this in order to receive college credit, maybe to distinguish yourself for scholarships. I imagine also maybe some of you, it's because your parents have made you do it. So now you're in this moment though, where you're going to be heading off to college, and you're in a position then where you're most likely going to meet the requirements to join an honors program or an honors college, and maybe then wondering, well, why would I do that now that I'm in college? And so I think we've got some reasons up here on the screen that you can see. I'll go ahead and say some of the reasons are somewhat similar, I feel, for why you might have done those honors classes earlier in your academic career. But a lot of you, I imagine, are thinking sort of further down the line. A lot of the students that I work with who come into honors at Fairmont State, they're already thinking about things like law school or medical school or some sort of graduate studies. Of course, many others are thinking about whatever the career they plan to have will be. And those honors classes that you'll end up taking in college are going to be excellent preparation for whatever is going to come next for you. It also is a way to continue just to have that academic distinction that will sort of help you to stand apart once it comes to applying for further graduate studies or applying for jobs, to have that designation on your transcript. So I think there's some practical reasons to consider joining an honors program, but I also feel, and these reasons that are up on the screen are the more important reasons. And what I really try to stress to students who are coming to Fairmont State is that being an honors student doesn't just mean that you're going to have more work or extra work or harder work. It means that you're going to be part of a community. And I think most of our students see that community as one of the biggest benefits available to them. But you're going to have the chance to just engage in sort of deeper intellectual types of work in classes that are specifically designated for honors students. Much of the curriculum is often interdisciplinary, so you have a chance to do some really innovative kinds of thinking outside of the box, getting out of your comfort zone, as we have up here on the screen, but also having that cohort that you work your way through the program with really gives you a chance to forge those connections. And I think at the end of the day, do work that's much more kind of academically stimulating, and really then also helping you forge the connections that will benefit you for whatever that next step is going to be. So of course, I'll be happy to answer any questions you all might have about honors specifically at Fairmont State. But I think that some of those benefits and what you'll hear from my counterparts at WVU and University of Charleston, across the board, the benefits that you'll receive, the opportunities that will be available to you, will really further your goals, whatever they may be.
Very good. Thanks so much, Dr. Payne. And next, I will hand it off to Drs. Chillog and Fisher.
Good afternoon. We were charged with identifying some misconceptions about honors programs. And while they are all different programs, I'm sure that WVU and Fairmont State have some different qualities. Wanted to express some experiences we've had with our student cohort. And then, of course, if you have questions about the quality of honors programs, about the content, about the organization, or general institution of the program within colleges, I'm sure I and my colleagues on the call are happy to answer those. At the University of Charleston, a lot of our students don't necessarily have a context for honors colleges. I was an honors college kid as an undergraduate myself, and so I was surprised, I guess, that a lot of folks didn't understand what the honors college would offer them. And also, a lot of them thought it would be an additional cost or slow them down. Kara, shall I take the first two and then you take the second two? I think.
Sure, sounds great.
Okay. But our program actually offers some scholarship incentives at the University of Charleston, and that is both in terms of actual dollars as well as academic scholarship. A lot of folks in our honors college do endeavor in research with a faculty member, or they work on a project with a faculty member directly. There's kind of some more intensive offerings. So in fact, it doesn't cost more or cause them to have a longer course of study, but in fact, often serves to offer them a bit of lower tuition as well as some additional academic opportunities. And so those two things, I think, are something that we have a job in articulating to our student population, that there are efficiencies within the program instead of the perception that, in fact, it may slow their process or cause them additional financial burden.
And really, I think that for us and across the board in terms of Honors College, students who are high achieving and who are amazingly conscientious about their work are the most concerned about falling behind. Mm-hmm. And, the very small costs of additional time and extra opportunities are nowhere near measurable to the benefits that students will receive from participating, as our colleague said, with their cohort across interdisciplinary lines, and developing soft skills like how to participate in a Zoom call, or how to interact with scholars and experts in the field or outside of their field, how to interact with students that have diverse majors and who have skills that are different than mine, and how to work well as a team. And so, these worries and fears, of course, are natural and, easy for those of us who have, finished our undergraduate careers to say, oh, don't worry about that, or that's not the case. And so, we've really tried, especially at the University of Charleston, to say, I understand why you have this concern, but let me just tell you about some of the really amazing opportunities that our students have had that happen outside of the classroom to develop relationships with faculty, with community partners, with potential employers, and these wonderful, beautiful scholars that we have the opportunity to meet now in the virtual space. And, hopefully when we get to travel again and, see other parts of the world. And it's such an emotional and also, skill building professional experience. And so some of those misconceptions are very understandable, but, we're here to be myth busters.
Thank you so much. Go ahead and hand it off to Dr. Flemings at West Virginia University.
Super, thank you, Chris. I just want to sort of reiterate some of the things that my colleagues have said in different sorts of ways. And when I think about really the benefits of being in the Honors College, one of the things that I see first, which may seem a little esoteric on the surface, but perhaps has the longest lasting value, is your networking with a group of high achieving students. And, those relationships you build, particularly your first year away at college, you frequently find out that those are the relationships that last a lifetime with you. And now you have networked yourself together with this group of really high achieving students. And you're going to be friends for the rest of your life, and you're going to help each other. And it's just a great experience in that regard. And not only do you network with other students, but you're networking with faculty. And, I can tell you at WVU how, it happens all the time. Some faculty member calls me up and says, hey, I'm looking for a good student in political science. Who do you think I should be talking to? Or, a student walks into a faculty member's office and says, hey, I enjoyed your class and I'm interested in maybe learning a little bit more about what you do. And I'm also an honor student. And at that point, lots of times the faculty member will say, oh, this is a sort of special student. I'm really going to listen to this student for a minute. So it helps you network with faculty. We're starting to do some things here, networking our undergraduate students with alumni. So again, queuing up job and internships into the future, and also with our college administrators. We have opportunities for our Honors College students to come and meet the presidents and the provosts, and in really small sorts of settings. And so really, from my perspective, that network is really the most valuable thing that students get from an Honors College experience. My colleagues have talked some about the classes. At WVU, we have more access to smaller classes. And one of my favorite things to do when students leave the honors program is to ask them, tell me about your experience. And I love it when a student will say to me, my honors class really wasn't that much harder, but I learned so much more, because those classes are smaller and tend to be way more engaging. So that's really a home run from my perspective. It's not really about harder and faster. It's about being more engaged. And lots of students will say, I go into my regular class, not everybody's prepared. You walk into your honors class, everybody is prepared and they're ready to go. You're going to have a great learning experience. Right now at WVU, we still have some priority registration for our students, so they register before other students. I don't know that everybody does that. We have some special housing at WVU for our honor students. It's a little bit nicer housing. So that's a great thing about WVU's honors. We have a live-learn community, and our honor students live together. So that's a really nice opportunity to just really network with those students and be together and just live and grow together. Some of my colleagues have talked about dollars. We at WVU don't have a lot of direct scholarship dollars in the Honors College for students to take care of their tuition. But what we do have is money for them to do other things. So at WVU, we have a 2+2 honors program. So we have a program for freshmen and sophomores, and then a different program that's for juniors and seniors. And so as we recruit high school students into this first program, it's based really on doing honors classes, more classroom focused stuff. At the same time, if a student wanted to go to a conference or something, we might have some money to help send them to that conference, or in their juniors and senior years when they're in our experiential learning program, we might have money to help fund some research or to send them to a conference or help pay some manuscript fees or whatever the case may be. So there's lots of great reasons to be in the Honors College. And if I could leave you students with anything from this part, I would leave you with, don't think about harder and faster. Think about, these are classes and opportunities for me that not everybody's going to get. And so I want to take advantage of these opportunities. And with that, I'm going to turn it back over to Chris.
Thanks so much. And now we're going to go into a portion of the panel presentation where each institution will be able to talk a little bit more about what their program offers, how to apply, and some of the things that differentiate them or make them unique, and definitely ways to interact and engage with them.
Thank you, Chris. So at WVU, I talked a little bit about our Honors Live Learn community and some of the fun things they do. Just want to take a minute, and I mentioned just a few minutes ago, you can see there down on the bottom left, one of our Honors College students, looks like she's holding a unicorn or something. Not quite sure what's going on there, but you can see that she is there with President Gordon Gee. And President Gee loves our Honors College students and comes to dinner with them a few times a year. And then working clockwise, you can see they're working together. It looks like they're doing their homecoming float on that picture, and then one roughly at noon. And then over at 1 o'clock, you can see a group of students, and they are riding a train through the down around Elkins, West Virginia somewhere. I think that's the Cass Railroad. And so one of the things as part of our Honors Live Learn communities, they do these little great trips, and one of the trips was down there for a fall leaf ride on the train. And I think they went by the Green Bank Observatory and did a few other fun things. And then the picture you can see that there's a cannon there. Our Live Learn coordinator, Dr. Kevin Gooding, put together a trip to Gettysburg. And so a bunch of our Honors College students went to Gettysburg, and it's a little tough to see in the picture, but a couple of faculty members went with us. I went there, so that was kind of fun because I'd never been, so that was awesome. But we also took one of our Civil War history professors, and it was his graduate student there that was actually running the tour, who was on an internship there. And we got a special tour of the Gettysburg battlefield and learned about how to fire cannons. And then the last picture you can see looks like folks standing in front of a porch front there. And that is, again, with our Live Learn community, we went to go see where Mark Twain wrote, and took a bus trip up to New York. One of our faculty members is an expert in Samuel Clemens, Mark Twain, and so she arranged for us to have a trip up there. So those are some of the fun things we do in the Honors College and our Live Learn community. Just fun things to broaden our education and just really network together. And so on the next slide, if I could, I would just tell you a little bit about our honors admissions process, which I will tell you, in the COVID world, we are still building as we are flying the thing. But I can tell you that the website, I did not get up there because I did this and not my communications person, but honors.wvu.edu is our website. And you can pull down the admissions tab and work from there. I will tell you in short that there are 3 ways to get into the Honors College at WVU. The first one is if you have a standardized test score, composite ACC, ACT, super score 26 or greater, and a 3.7 GPA, you will be invited to join the Honors College. You'll get an invitation from us, and those invitations are starting to go out this week. We recognize that not everybody has a test score this year, and so we're working through that. Basically, if you have no test score or applying to WVU test optional and have a greater than 3.7 GPA from an unweighted school or greater than 4.0 from a weighted school, you will have an opportunity also to apply with a slightly extended application. And finally, for the first time, we're building a test blind policy this year. And if you would like to apply to WVU, you can, to the Honors College at WVU, you can send us an email at honors@mail.wvu.edu, and we will send you the extended application. So those are the 3 ways that you can apply to the Honors College at WVU, and I'll be happy to answer any other questions after. And with that, I'll turn it back to Chris.
Thanks so much. And I'm going to go ahead and hand it off to Dr. Robin Payne here at Fairmont State University.
So thanks again, Chris. So what you're seeing up on the screen is some photographs from some of the activities that our honor students have been involved in. Like WVU, Fairmont State University has a Live Learn community for honor students. Many of our students really enjoy having the chance to be in the residence hall with fellow honor students. And in the Live Learn community is also where we typically base a lot of our social activities. As Dr. Blemmings was saying, of course, the strange world of COVID we're all living in right now has caused us to adapt, and we're doing a lot of virtual activities. But usually we have social gatherings to bring the community together. Every year we have a fall luau. Typically we have celebrations to come together at the end of each semester. But we also, our honor students typically every year organize a quiz bowl for high school students throughout the region. And also, I think one of the big draws for a lot of our students, and most of the photographs, in fact, all of them that you see up here, come from some of our opportunities to travel. So typically every year we take what we call a DC field day, rent a charter bus, take a big group out to Washington, DC to tour some of the museums all together as a group. We also typically every spring offer a study abroad class where students can actually enroll in a class for college credit, learn about a particular city, the culture, the history, and so on and so forth. And then over spring break, we all go together as a group. So you're seeing some photographs up here from one of the more recent trips to Rome. And I'm hopeful that as soon as some of the travel restrictions lift, we'll be doing that type of thing again. We also work really hard to keep those connections going between our community and our students and our faculty. One of the things we do in our Live Learn community is host lobby talks where we invite faculty or sometimes community members to come in and talk about maybe some research that they're working on or a contemporary issue that they're really excited or passionate about, and really just trying to have a variety of ways that students can engage both inside and outside of the classroom. As for the requirements to join our honors program, Like most of the other programs you're hearing from today, and I think other programs at other institutions, typically we will be looking at things like your ACT or SAT test scores. Typically, if you have a certain score, 26 composite score or higher on the ACT, you will automatically be invited to apply to join our honors program. Also, as Dr. Blemmings was saying, though, since many of you might be trying to put in your applications for honors or for college without the test scores this year, we are sort of working out ways to adapt to that new reality. And anytime anyone has any questions or interest in the honors program, I'm always happy to speak with them and determine whether or not it's an appropriate fit for them. So I think my contact information is on the next slide in the presentation. So you can able me, you can call me, visiting our webpage, which also has more information about the application process. We also are doing some work with our social media presence. So again, a variety of ways to get in touch, and we'll be happy to answer, like I said, any questions you might have.
Very good. Thanks
Thank you,
so much.
Chris.
And I will hand it off to our friends at the University of Charleston.
Good afternoon. I think Kara and I'm going to talk a little about the overall honors experience, and then Dr. Fisher is going to talk a little bit about kind of our organization within classes at the University of Charleston. Like WVU and Fairmont State, we also have a dedicated dorm space for honor students. They say, and we say, that's where the best studying on campus occurs. It's a competitive cohort, an interdisciplinary cohort. They eat together, they play together. That's a wonderful benefit of our program. Our honor students also really engage in intensive service, and that is also from the beginning of the process. They often identify service they want to be involved with. We just did an initiative over Labor Day weekend at the University of Charleston where honor students helped design service activities for our entire undergraduate population. So we had about 1,100 people in the field, and that was orchestrated by a few dedicated faculty and upper class people in our honors program. It's something really unique and fun for the CV and worthwhile. They joke about being indentured servants, but they keep showing up and it's voluntary. So I think they like it. Additionally, we also travel with our honors college in pandemic free times. We did hurricane relief in Puerto Rico, for example. That was incredibly intense experience, working 15, 16 hours a day. We did make it to the beach and, you know, get to see some wonderful tourist attractions over there, but we've done several trips there based around service in Puerto Rico. We also went to DC last year. That's something that we also do, so close and such a wonderful city. We do a lot of kind of fellowship activities. For example, in non-COVID times, it's our tradition. I host a barbecue at my house for our honors college, and so we bring all 4 classes in, both for our introductory banquet. There's a barbecue at my house, an end of year fellowship opportunity, also special lectures we've been doing. For example, this year, the virtual Race Matters Summit with the Greater Kanawha Valley Foundation, and our honors college got to, share space with Nicole Hannah-Jones. Really fantastic stuff. I want to say too, I think what we talked about student advantages of being in the honors program, but Actually, Kara and I were on a call last night for an hour with a former honors graduate at University of Charleston who is helping us to plan a conference for next year. He's at the School of Public Health at Johns Hopkins University now. And we've maintained a close relationship with him, and he talks to his honors comrades, and faculty also talk to honors graduates that are leaders in their field. So it's just a really, really special community. And I think that I want to acknowledge our benefits too, getting to be with such talented students in the classroom, in service environments, and in travel. Okay.
And Chris, I think you can take us to the next slide, and I'll just tell you a little bit about how you get to participate in the Honors College at UC, and a little bit about what our curriculum is built on. We are interested in our highest academically achieving students, which is often measured by high school GPA or ACT or SAT requirements, but also we're looking for students who have demonstrated this exceptional community activism or engagement. And Professor Chillog and I meet individually today in the virtual space with every applicant for our Honors College. It is a highly competitive program, and we look for 30 students every year to fill that cohort. But we're looking for a diverse group of students. And our Honors College is built on values of leadership and integrity, innovation and diversity, and we hope that our student cohorts reflect that. We don't meet in traditional Honors College classes. We do a freshman seminar and a senior seminar, but throughout the program, students participate in 4 interdisciplinary academies where they are interfacing through workshops with community partners and building global travel experience. So that would include our Innovative Leadership Academy, our Community Development Academy, the Intellectual Discovery Academy, and the Global Awareness Academy. So it is very much a hands-on interactive curriculum, and we're located right in the state's capital. We're so lucky to have that proximity to so many opportunities in the state of West Virginia. So I don't know, do you think, Hallie, that I've said all there is to say? This is such an exciting call, and I don't want to take up all the time because I could probably talk all day.
It sounds great to me. I'm sure there are things we're forgetting. I will say one more thing is that we have had some real success to finding really niche internships and employment for our Honors College graduates. We just have a more intimate, high-touch environment, even on our small campus with our honors students. I'm sure that's true at WVU and Fairmont State as well, and it kind of has empowered us to really be specific in graduate or professional school placement or employment. And that was my story. That's how I got my graduate school. It was an honors advisor who said to me, I think you should apply to this program, when I was trying to navigate that. And my thesis work with that professor got me funded for my next degree. And so I think I'll always be indebted to her, and I really want to kind of pay the universe back for that connectivity. And that's kind of a thing we can do in that small space of the Honors College.
Very good. So we did have one question that came in from our participants, and that is this a better option for students who learn better with discussions and talking versus lecture? So I will toss that out and let each institution kind of expand on that a little bit, because I think more than anything, the heart of an honors course or the heart of an honors cohort really is that deeper discussion and more unpacking of not what's in the text, not what you read in the text, but what it means. So I'll go ahead and toss it off to Dr. Blemmings first.
Thanks, Chris. Yes, and I guess I would have to say yes to that. I mean, the back to the point I was talking about with the student who shared with me, that she didn't really feel like she worked harder in her honors classes, but she learned more. And at the heart of that is that interaction between the professor and the students, and the students and the students in the class, and less relying on a lecture for delivery of material, but a much more interactive class. I think that's a hallmark of what we try and get done here. So from our perspective, we would say, yeah.
Go ahead, Dr. Payne.
Yeah, I would absolutely agree with that. And, if we think about one of the benefits perhaps being those smaller class sizes, it really does just offer that opportunity to have the deeper, lengthier, more analytical types of discussions. I think one of the things that we really emphasize in our honors program is that we are really trying to help students hone their skills in critical thinking. And so we do try to design the curriculum in a way that allows for that. And I think then just the level of engagement is something that students who maybe do learn better from discussion could really benefit from that type of curriculum.
And Dr. Fisher, Dr. Chillog?
I think, I mean,
Oh my goodness,
I'm sorry, Kara.
it's okay. I should have gone with the order we've been going, but I was just about to say that if you can't tell already, Professor Chillog and I love to talk. And so we are encouraging, extroverted and introverted students, but to share. And so I would agree, yes, and I'm going to let you talk.
Yeah, I mean, I think that there's space in my experience with the Honors College at the University of Charleston for both kind of a classical lecture and a seminar. We do all kinds of things. So, and I think we want to recognize a variety of learning styles and gifts. And actually, one of the things I'm grateful for working in the Honors College is that we really have the intimacy to recognize all different types of learners and skills. I hate the broad brush of recognizing leaders as the most, as the loudest student in a class. Sometimes I think just our culture does that. And so the Honors College really allows us, even though I am always the loudest person in the class as a professor or as a student, I really like the opportunity to get to hear and listen in different ways. And so I think that's definitely true for all of those things. And, I gave a paper at Virginia Tech a couple of years ago with 2 Honors College students, and you just have these different kind of opportunities because you're conferencing, I think, as some of the other faculty on the call have talked about, and you're traveling. So there's all of these different ways of experiencing and learning beyond the traditional classroom that are immersive and different. And I think someone said kind of push our comfort zone. And I think that's probably where most learning occurs, most significant learning.
So next question is something that's very commonly asked by students who are considering applying to an honors program. A lot of students, as mentioned earlier in the panel presentation, is they've experienced those honors classes at the high school level. They're a little bit burnt out. It's a lot of extra work. There's not much extra reward for that work. At the collegiate level, is it so much more about the amount of work, or is it about the quality of the work? And we'll go in reverse order with University of Charleston first.
Gonna try not to talk over Kara again. I mean, I think, working hard is often really satisfying. maybe not when you're in it, but I've had honors college students tell me that when we finish something, they say, I didn't think that I could do that. And that's very exciting for me as an educator. But it's not, I don't think necessarily there's tons more volume, but the intensity of the work has a little bit of a different feel around it. And, you know, right now, for example, we're reading Death and Mudlick, the new book by Eric Eyre, who's our Pulitzer Prize winning author here at the Charleston Gazette about the opioid crisis. And so we've been reading, I don't know, 5 or 6 chapters a week, Kara, I think. And the quality of feedback in our discussions with the freshmen, this is the freshmen that are reading this book, I am just blown away. And I make sure to tell them like, oh, that is not something I thought of. And I've read the book several times. So I think it's not necessarily volume, but intensity. How would you answer, the rest of y'all?
Go ahead, Dr. Payne.
Yeah, I think that's a good way to think of it. And I think college in general, I think, is difficult and challenging, regardless of whether you're in honors or not. But I do think that it is more an issue of the level of intellectual work and the quality of the intellectual work. I think invariably you are going to be working hard. You are going to be doing some pretty challenging, intellectually demanding types of things. But with that said, I think what you gain from that deeper learning experience is what really makes it worth it. But I also like how you described it, Chris, about an being more an issue of quality rather than simply like the amount of work.
And I guess I agree with everything my colleagues have said. It's absolutely true. The only thing that I would maybe add to it is I thought I heard on the end of your question, Chris, something about doing all this extra work and it's no recognition for it. And I want to focus on that piece for a minute, because if you're in the honors college and you complete that honors work, I think there is great recognition for that, and it is of great value because of the networking. And I don't know about how my colleagues work, but at WVU, you know, that's put on your transcript, on your diploma that you're in the honors college, and there's lasting recognition of that effort. So I would just add that to the conversation.
Fantastic. So we'll wrap up with a very, very quick question across all 3 institutions. At West Virginia University, is there a limit to the number of students who are admitted to the honors college each fall?
Is there a limit? I would say it this way, that the fast answer is no. At the same time, President Gee has asked me to have about 20% of the freshman class be honor students. So typically we have about 5,000 students come to WVU, and typically somewhere around 1,000 of them will be honor students. But there's not an exact number.
Okay. And Dr. Payne, is there a limit to the program capacity at Fairmont State University?
No, there is not. Typically, we do have roughly in the ballpark of about 100 students joining our program each year. That can vary year to year, but there's no cutoff. So long as there's students who are interested in meeting the requirements, we do what we can to bring them into the program.
Very good. And at the University of Charleston?
We have a cohort of 30 to 40 students. I know Hallie and I are the same person. Sometimes we talk at the same time. But and you can add to this, Hallie, we have a cohort of 30 to 40 students every year. So it's a selective program. But we also, if we find a student that we think is really a perfect fit and a match with our program, then we normally find a way for them to participate.
Yeah, I have a student graduating this year who had enrolled and was calling me to talk about working in a multidisciplinary space with majors. And I just had this feeling, and I said, has anyone talked to you about the Honors College? We were talking on the phone a couple of years ago, and she was like, no, what is that? And so like, I'm pulling up her transcript on my computer, and I looked at like beautiful ACT, beautiful AP courses, you know, and I was like, what? And I immediately had this idea. And so occasionally that will happen. And also at the University of Charleston, we also will take students, almost all the students come into us knowing their honors when they come to campus as first-time freshmen. But occasionally we have the ability to move a student after this first semester into the honors program. And it'll be a faculty member calling Dr. Fisher or I and saying, why isn't this kid in the honors college? They are exceptional. They are doing X in my class. They need this cohort. So I think we're pretty plastic about it. I mean, it's always great if they can come in with the cohort. We like that, but there's space to every once in a while to move a special student, maybe an international student. And we'd love to have that diversity, as Kara said, in the program.
And with that, I'll hand it back off to the West Virginia ACRAO facilitator. Thank you all so much.
Thank you, everyone. So we're just going to wrap up with just a few notes here. I just want to say, first of all, thank you for joining us. When you close this window, there will be a link to a very quick 4-question survey. We'd appreciate any feedback you can provide. Again, this is just one of the many sessions being hosted, so be sure to sign up for additional sessions at WVACRAO.org. And in about a week, you'll be able to find those sessions on that same website as well. So with that said, please enjoy your day. Thank you for tuning in.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
I found one